All right, guys, it's Anthony here, Super Service. Here we go on Steve's. I got it broke down, and yeah, here it is. This is a Ford Reman, 6007 full dress. It was put in. I got to carry a charger around here. My battery's freaking dead. Yes, early in the morning. Here you go. 7 of 11 date code on a bearing. So figure 2011 was when the bearing was manufactured, July of 11. So, I mean, what are we thinking? 12 maybe? Maybe it was installed in an engine in 12, possibly. Customers owned it for 2.5 years. The engine hour meter was already maxed out when he bought it. He bought it at 130,000 miles, and it's now got 160. So he's put 30,000 miles on it. Who knows how many engine hours? Runs a lot of hours. But this is a Ford Reman, 6007 full dress, put in 4 years ago, we could say. Okay, we're talking a $12,000 engine, maybe 13 back then, who knows. You know, full set of injectors, all Reman, everything done. The heads had hardened guides in it. It looked like they had seats too. They put seats and guides in. But we're gonna go ahead and refresh everything. Got another video before. This side was cut, this side was not. They cut one side, did not cut the other. Just said, oh, heck with it. I got all my numbers here. You can see the protrusion. Cylinder 6 had 32 thousandths, cylinder 3 had 17 thousandths. The range was all over the place. Cam, backlash in play, that all looks good. Crankshaft in play was tight. Side clearance was a little out. 8 and 7 was 27, and 4 and 3 was 25 thousandths. 24 is the max spec, so, and I'll show that here in a second, what I think happened, what looks like happened. Well, we'll start with the beginning here. Best part on the truck, which I didn't really expect it, is the camshaft. Still needs to be polished. We'll probably try and polish it. There's no grooves. There's wear. There's wear on it, but polishing, I mean, we'll polish it first and see how it comes out. If it doesn't come out good, then we're looking at a camshaft. But this is all from machining. This whole reason for this coming out, in my opinion, is self-inflicted. We got a couple of calls in. Nobody's returned our calls, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the freaking video. This Ford 6007 is horrible. It's absolutely freaking horrible. First off, they did cut the crank. Every bearing on this crank is 10 under. Everything is cut 10 under. They cut the main journals, they cut the rod journals, they cut everything. And you can kind of tell by, well, the first indication is the 1/4 millimeter right there. See that underneath the 711, 1/4 millimeter? That's what, 9.8, basic 10 thousandths. So crank's not bent or nothing, everything's straight. I mean, we took a couple bearings out and spun it. It's within 0.5 thousandths on it being bent. So I mean, it's pretty true. It's pretty close. I don't even know where to start. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. They cut it. Obviously, something didn't get cut. Hang on, let me move all this stuff. You know, I mean, this is why I do not cut cranks. I do not line bore. I do not do anything. Bearing material. Bearings are shot. I'm talking 4 years on it. Maybe 5 years at the most. Basically just shot the bearings. But what I feel probably happened was this. Look at the bushing coming out of the small end. Breaking, bushing's breaking. I mean, it seized and it grabbed a hold of it, and then, I mean, obviously it broke itself loose, but it had seized at some point. We got a couple of them that are like that. This engine was I mean, it was downhill. There's another one right there. It was downhill. The bushings were coming out of the rods. The rods have been resized. I mean, everything is, yeah, just freaking absolutely horrible. We did check the bore. The bores, we bore gauged it, and it's, here, let me show you. Something like this, I get the freaking manual out. Main bearing bore inside, 54 to 62. So that's a 8/10 range. So we got 8/10 worth of range. Plus or minus 8/10. Well, we've got a range of 2/10 over to 15/10 over on the second one in. So the crank was bouncing around. I mean, whether or not I don't even know if it's straight, if the line bore is actually straight, but possibly it's not. It wasn't cut true to begin with, and then it allowed the crankshaft to bounce around inside of the bore. And that's, you know, I mean, is that what caused the rod bushings to, I mean, everything was just bouncing around, and you can tell by the bearings. I mean, which a lot of that is fairly normal, you know, on fairly high miles, but that's not. Those bearings are shot. I mean, we had bearing material. You can look right here. This is cylinder number 5, I think. Yeah, 5. You can see where, here, let me push this out and you can see it better. You can see where that bushing was digging into the piston. So metal, this bushing right here goes in just like that, and it was digging into the piston, actually grinding it away. You know, it was definitely not going to get better. It was going to keep grinding, keep causing metal, and possibly a piece of this. This is what locked up the low pressure regulator. We have one piece of it right here that I have actually found. One piece of the bushing. But all these pieces right here, that's what was going through, and in my opinion, that's what locked up the low pressure regulator. Did not lock up the pump. The pump was good. Had some little pieces. If you go back on the previous video, you'll see the little dots that I had. It wasn't real catastrophic yet. You can see this big piece right here was about to come off. See that? It's about to have a big old piece come off of there. That would have, who knows where it would have went, you know, chewed up the pump. And then as metal, you get any metal in the engine, it's going to cause more metal because of crap like that. It's grinding against it. That's the shavings that are being grinded off or turning into, you know, that's material in the engine, and then that material rubs with other material, and then that makes more material. Next thing you know, you got, I mean, you got a whole freaking crap storm of just metal being caused from all over the place. So yeah, I mean, this is a $13,000 engine that should not be in this condition right now. If there was a little more attention to detail, when a freaking crankshaft needs to be ground for where we're at right now, engine blocks, crankshafts, that's all available. So we got to grind a crankshaft, we throw it away. It's trash. I mean, I actually have another crankshaft right there. It was ready. It's ready to go. Needs to be, well, I say ready, it needs to be polished. I've had it extra, that's standard size, has not been cut. I've got another complete engine back in the back that I got from a different truck. We're not gonna use that crankshaft. We're gonna pull this engine I got in the back and break it down. I think it's got a camshaft failure. We're gonna break that engine down, go through it, see what the issue is. Basically start all over. We're gonna start all over. This block is trash. All those rods are trash. Well, most of them are. I mean, if the bushing's bad, it gets thrown away. Because, I mean, to press a bushing in, you're at 40, 50 bucks. That's gonna be, by the time you buy the bushing, it's a tapered rod. By the time you buy the bushing, you see the tapered rod right there. And then you pay to have it pressed out and pressed in. I mean, you're 40, 50 bucks. And then you got rod bearings, Rod bearings will cost you about I don't know, $100 or something like that, $140. And then the bolts are going to cost you about $60. So by the time you press all the bearings, you know, 8 of them, you're going to push $400. Then figure $500, another 100 added onto that for the bearings. So now you're at $500, and then just call it another $100 for the rod, for the bolts. So you're at $600 to put new bearings in. You can buy all the freaking rods for about $800. You know, so for $200 more, you can buy all new rods. You know, so little crap like this, these should have been, I mean, you buy a full dress, 6007, I want all new rods. You know, $800 is like over the counter cost, or maybe not, maybe $850. That's retail, you know, and if Ford's buying a full dress, put a new set of rods in the damn thing. You know, crankshaft. Like retail crankshaft is $1,700 from Ford. We're talking a $13,000 engine. Put a new freaking crank in it if that's the case. You know, not this go, no go, grind it 10 thousandths under. You know, forget that. That's asinine. I mean, if I spend 13 grand on something, that is just the part. I want a fresh crank. I want, or at least a standard crank. Cylinder walls are standard. They probably did the spray bore. They spray bored it. But they spray bored it. They went through all the trouble to spray bore the cylinders, bore them back to standard size, and didn't cut both sides. Are you freaking kidding me? What the hell? I mean, what else do we got here? I don't even know. I mean, it's a freaking nightmare. You know, this rotating assembly is pretty much shot. All of it is. Cylinders look good. It's everything else that's crap. I mean, even these. I mean, that bushing's wore the hell out. It's just wore out. They all are. We're not going to use any of them. I mean, none of them. I mean, look like all the bushings had, they probably pressed in new bushings, and who knows. You know, none of them look good enough for me to deem okay. I mean, we'll put fresh rods in it. Heck with that. But I don't know. I mean, be careful what you freaking buy. That's for damn sure. You know, you're not going to get the attention to detail when you buy a mass-produced. You know, you buy anything freaking mass-produced. Just dumbfounded. That's all it is. I mean, it's went from possibly just a delete. Low pressure regulator was locked up, so we knew we had to go in. We knew we had metal somewhere. Thought it might have been a camshaft, lifters. Broke it down. It was running. I mean, I drove it in here and parked it right there after I cleared the low pressure oil issue. And it was like, I said, well, let's go ahead and run it. You know, let's drive it, see if we can get it to fail the rest of the way, because that way that will more pronounce the issue. Well, the issue just came alive. You know, as we started tearing it apart, we saw what the issue was. So we're started it at least wanting to delete, then studs, then lifters, and now we're looking at every single thing under the hood is trash, because all the injectors too, he's going to put a full set of injectors in it. The engine harness, I just don't know about the engine harness. I mean, I got the okay to put both engine harnesses on it. I mean, this is an absolute work truck. This one, there is no excuse for having even one little issue on a wire or anything once this job is done. So, you know, we're going to be a little less than $1,000 extra for both engine harnesses, the FICM and the main engine harness. Well, I got approval. Go ahead and do it. Do it. We want no questions asked. There will be no reason for excuses on this truck. It's both engine harnesses, all new injectors. We're going to keep the turbo. Turbo's good. I don't know. SDC fitting was done. Standpipes, dummy plugs were done. So Ford Reman, they did do that. They put standpipes, dummy plugs, and SDC fitting. But they ground the freaking crank. And what possibly the side clearance on the crankshaft. let's go here. See that one? You got the machine marks, they look good. You can see a little bit of rotation there where it was grinding, but let's look at 7 and 8. I mean, yeah, it's not such a deal breaker. Killer, you can see that's not bad. You still got the mill marks from it being cut side to side, but this one had 27 thousandths. It was grinding. Now what possibly happened was when they ground the crank, they might have accidentally just a little bit hit the side here, follow the main joint, here. While they was grinding the crank, they might have got a little into the side, and that opened up the tolerances for the side play of the rods. You can kind of see it grinding. I mean, that's not an absolute killer, I mean, but it's just more crap that isn't right. You know, shit's not right. Yeah, it's been grinding. That's that rod side play right there. 12 to 24 thousandths, and we was over 20 on every single one of them, and it's 12 to 24 is the spec, so all of them were over 20 thousandths. What a freaking joke. So basically this thing, you know, 4 years ago he bought a 6007 full dress, and right now he's looking at replacing every freaking thing again, doing it all. That's freaking nuts. Unacceptable. I mean, this is a Ford reman, you know. I don't know, but thought I'd shoot a quick video and show. You think you go to the dealer, you think you're doing it right, you think you're doing what you should be doing by just who could have a better long block full dress engine than Ford? Well, a lot of people do, you know, because this is absolutely horrible. I mean, and it's all machining. It's all self-inflicted. I mean, who's to say if they wouldn't have machined, if they would have replaced the rods, if they would have replaced the crank, would we even be where we're at right now? If they wouldn't have line bored the freaking cylinders, the main journals, would we even be here right now? I don't know. But all I know is we are here right now, and we have to go through and sweep up the mess, which is going to be a big freaking ticket. I mean, it's a big ticket. This is no joke. This out the door is going to cost more than that full dress engine, because I mean, everything with the full dress is going away. I mean, we're keeping the valve covers, we're keeping the rockers, we're keeping the high pressure pump, you know, we're keeping a lot of the basic parts, the bolt-on parts, but we're probably going to keep the camshaft. Crank's gone, rod's gone, block's gone. Heads we're probably going to be reusing the heads. I think they'll be done today, which after we keep finding issues wrong, it doesn't matter that the heads will be done today. Who cares? Because now we got to send the block and crank and balance a rotating assembly, do all kinds of crap, you know, which, oh well, I don't know. It freaking sucks. It's a freaking drag. But I don't know what I'm going to name this video yet. I mean, because I believe in the Fords. I like them, but it's turning into it's not the engine's fault. It's whoever touched it. It's their fault, and it's not even whoever touched it. It's whoever made the decision to go ahead and grind this crank. You know, yeah, go ahead and grind it. Which, I mean, people do it all the time. I understand that, but hell no. No, maybe in a gas engine that, you know, you want to race it for a little bit, but I almost just at a loss for words when we take this thing apart. It's getting freaking ridiculous how much crap we see that is just, oh well. Ford reman, that's what we got here. 6007 full dress with multiple freaking just crap. It's horrible. And it did not have valve cover gasket or exhaust manifold gaskets. Full dress engine, didn't have gaskets on it. Really? What the fuck? Whatever. I mean, oh well. But I don't know what else we got. I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video here later. All right, guys. Have a good day.